Hi, everybody. Let me make sure 21 days. No, 22 days. 22 days. Wow. 1,922 days. Let's make sure I'm on. Make sure you can hear me. And I'll start afresh. It has been, sometimes it takes somebody to, I don't know why my phone does this. See if we are on. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. That really helps. Thank you for coming on so late. I know it's almost 1 o'clock here. It can't be helped because the news is so important with the different elections, the elections in the El Paso borderland area, the cases, all of the dots that are being put together. And I can't put it out fast enough. I can't produce the information fast enough. Because sometimes it gets very, very complicated, and I'm trying to simplify it for everybody. Of course, I'm a teacher, so I try to put it into song or into poetry so people can understand what's going on here. And so the big breaking news, and I'll start by saying this is day 1,922 days since Richard was forcibly removed. Richard Halliday, the Fort Bliss whistleblower soldier, in July 2020 was forcibly removed from his barracks room and taken to the arms room. It's a soundproof room, and that's where they took his life. That's where we believe they took his life because the command spared no expense to have that totally renovated. They tampered, right? They tampered, they obstructed justice, they tampered, and we know that they obstructed justice in our son's case, to a degree that people just can't even fathom. So they took his life there, and they then stole his body. They stole his body off of Fort Bliss, and he was dismembered and he was trafficked. They profited off of him. This is what we believe, that all the evidence absolutely indicates that they tried to make as much money off of his body as possible by impersonating our family and collecting VA benefits, by using all of the corrupt officials to manipulate the autopsy reports and his identity to claim him as an unidentified migrant, to collect humanitarian funds for that, and then to traffic him to Juarez to claim him once again as an unidentified migrant on the Mexican side, and claim humanitarian funds through NGOs for him again, and then to dump him there at Plenitude Crematorium, or really at Plenitude Crematorium. And from the very beginning, I said there was this common denominator of members that were affiliated and worked for funeral homes, mortuary affairs, mortuary operations. This is, and of course, the common denominator of this Mormon faction, this common denominator of the sex group, sex cult. And that's coming into play too. This sex cult is coming into play too because of the organ harvesting, the baby harvesting, and it gets really, really dark. It gets very, very dark. And but now, all that information is coming out, right? From Martha Aguilar, known as the she devil, the La Diabla, um, eh, ripping babies out of coerced pregnant women, promising them some care, some job and that. And then when they get them to perform an illegal C-section on them to rip the baby from them, maybe injuring the baby, then and whatever condition this baby is in, to be sold, dead or alive, dead or alive. And they were targeting the homosexual community in America to sell the baby. And then, of course, then they weren't done. After that, they had to um, get so evil as to harvest organs, and put them, of course, in ice boxes, and then sell them on the black market. In the black market, I think we know that that came into the United States. Um, it came through Fort Bliss, of course, transferred to Fort Bliss, or through different ports. It could be through Houston, through San Antonio, even to California, um, and um, and then the organs were sold, and those were the organs are the very high price, and everyone that knows about medical care in the United States knows, and probably around the world for organ transplants and that, it's a high demand, and they get a high price for that. The baby that is so valuable doesn't get the high price. And so I'm getting a lot of stories about the babies, and it's so dark, y'all. It's so dark, that we need to hold these people accountable. And to do that, we need to have prosecutors. We need to have legal prosecutors, qualified prosecutors, prosecutors that really want to do their duty, that want to follow the Constitution, follow the rule of law. And James Montoya is not the man, not the creature. He's a creature. He's a monster. He's an absolute monster, and he's not the person for this job. And so and we had no clue how monstrous he is. Um, we want accountability for our son, of course, and we don't want the case to be botched, right? We don't want there to be problems with the case, um, and of course, Bill Hicks was a big problem because he was illegal. He was not installed properly. So he was a usurper. He was a usurper. He was not legally installed properly. And so therefore, he just pretended he was an imposter DA, and that if anyone finds out and he prosecuted anybody or any case he touched, it would be tainted, it would be botched, there would be a lot of legal problems with that. And so, of course, when James Montoya won the election, we wanted to make sure that he also installed properly. And what happened? He did a worse job than Bill Hicks. He is not installed properly. They have a real problem, these two that are allies. of signing the statement of officer, which is the anti-bribe statement, right? They have a real problem signing that. They don't want to sign that. And for probably very, very good reason, right? Because they can't swear and write their name that they did not take a bribe. And we know that from Bill Hicks because he even admitted it in an article, that there were conditions to him being appointed. And but he was illegally installed. And so there's a lot of problems. And then you have James Montoya, who did not sign. When we inquired about it, they probably panicked. It seems like they panicked because all of a sudden on that statement of officer is a 2028 stamp. We don't have, even now, we don't have 2028. It's 2025. And this was January 1st, 2025. It should have, and even the whole form is, um, is suspect. The whole form is botched. And the 2028 stamp is clearly, there's no question about it that this whole statement of officer is botched. And so he's not legally installed because the Texas Constitution requires that before you take the oath of office, you sign the statement of officer, that you did not take a bribe before you take your oath of office. That is the beautiful Texas Constitution. And he did not follow that. And so, he broke the law. And he is then not qualified to be the prosecutor. The prosecutor, the district attorney for the 34th Judicial District. And so this is a big, big problem. And now, we saw it in the Walmart case because he just botched that whole thing. He never got the death penalty for Patrick Crucius. He did not expose all of the obstruction, all of the orchestration in it. He did not expose the Mayela's part in it. He did not go and arrest the other shooters. He did not get justice for all the victims and their families in the Walmart mass shooting. He totally botched it. The whole case is botched. And that's why the victims' families cannot even pursue their own case against Walmart for damages because everything's botched, right? Everything. And so now you have this lawyer friend. Of course, you have the botched case of the killing, the killing that was so brutal of Julio Cordero that the family could not have an open casket because there was so much damage to his face. Okay, it's a really horrific killing by Anthony Acuna, and he is very good lifelong friends with James Montoya, and that whole thing is botched because we want the body cam footage on that, and absolutely the family of Julio Cordero, the most decorated FBI agent in El Paso history. He is the agent that ran the pawns, it's 1 o'clock already. The pawns, the scandal with Briones family. And we owe it to Julio, to Poison Pawns. Thank you. It came to me. Poison Pawns, that Julio Cordero was so brave to do. And he was still looking into that. Okay. So we know that his head was so badly damaged by this. And we also know that he was still looking into Poison Pawns 2.0, and that Richard is Poison Pawns 2.0, of the pawns being PAWNS, being these elites, these people in authority, in positions that have been poisoned, that are polluted, that are corrupt, that are dirty, and we really respect Julio Cordero for all his work, and so we are continually um, reporting on that botched case, and God is watching, and God is no buttercup, right? God is no buttercup. And if I were those covering that up, keeping the body cam footage from being released so that people could see what happened, I'd be shaking in my boots. I would be shaking in my boots because God's just no buttercup. And yeah, it's all in his timing. So we want to absolutely expose that mess of a case, with along with our son's case, of course. And now we have another case of the lawyer, Mario Alberto Ortiz Saroldi. And, you know, what he did in engaging in trafficking, engaging in um, uh, assault on these trafficked victims, taking them back to their captors. Okay, this is slavery. This is modern day slavery. What he did is so egregious. And what James Montoya, who is, an imposter, right? An imposter, a usurper, whatever, he is so bad. He's just a monster for doing what he's doing, protecting this cartel network of traffickers, saying, charging his friend Mario Ortiz Saroldi with solicitation is, that's a fake prosecution. That is a fake prosecution. And he is, with his actions, this imposter, James Bonneau Montoya, who took the name Montoya just to have, like, oh, I'm Mexican, see, I have Mexican heritage and whatever. It's a bunch of baloney. He has that, oh gosh, he is such an imposter. He's such a fake person all the way around. Fake, 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 everything. And uh, to have this solicitation charge when this lawyer, Mario Ortiz Saroldi, um, should be absolutely facing um, what he did to these women. Because you see, when you coerce someone, that is also that big R word. You know what I mean? You know, when you coerce, um, and then take them back, they're trafficked, and you take them back to their traffickers. Uh, y'all, he is he's a monster. He's a total monster. That's what he should be facing, those charges. Those charges. And that's what the prosecution should be. And the media. And the media should be doing absolutely focused on those charges against him. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for sharing these posts, because we're getting quite a bit of shares, and we're shadow banned. Okay, we're shadow banned. I have some techie friends that absolutely have confirmed that. And the media, of course, has a blackout on things that we are reporting, from the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, the judges being illegally sitting there being imposters because they're not elected, and the voters being disenfranchised because they have the constitutional right with this court to vote for their judges, and they're being denied that right. Where is the media covering that? That is huge, because it's botching all of those cases that are going through the magistrate court, which is like over 90% of all cases in El Paso County. And we've also exposed that Mario Raskin Ortiz is getting paid $500,000 a year, just about $500,000 a year, by the hand of dirty Ricardo Samaniago, who's, like the fake judge, right? He needs to have a new title. He's the administrator, right? He's administrator. He's not a judge. He does not have a law degree. And I think that that is very deceptive and misleading to people, his title. And he's the one that signs the paycheck for Mario Raskin Ortiz to keep him in that position when he is absolutely illegal. Absolutely illegal, and a criminal for what he's done all these years. And I guess they want a criminal in that place, right? Why aren't they reporting on it? Because they want a criminal, because they are either right along with these traffickers, right along, with these criminals, with this FTOs, cartel, with the criminal Mormon faction. Or maybe they're afraid for their life. I don't know. Maybe they could right now write President Trump and say, look, I need to stop paying this fake medical examiner, right? I need to stop paying this criminal, and you need to absolutely indict him. You need to arrest him. You need to prosecute what's going on. We've exposed that. Where's the media? Where's the media? Absolutely. The organ trafficking is huge, huge. And, we've known about it for a long time, okay, for years. We've known about it. And we haven't, I don't think I've mentioned it too many times, maybe one time in all these years, maybe two times. But right now, because it is absolutely confirmed. It's absolutely confirmed that's what they were doing. Okay. And with the Plenitude Crematorium, absolutely confirmed that the Plenitude Crematorium is part of this La Diabla, right? That Beto O'Rourke is connected to this group, which means that Woody Hunt is connected to this group, because of Cesar Paneche, because of General John Kelly, because Woody Hunt and Alejandro de la Vega Foster and Paul Foster are the ones that recommended Cesar Paneche and General John Kelly to be working with the government, the state government of Chihuahua. That is a narco government. It's an absolutely narco. Sinaloa, El Chapatos, and they're all over this Plenitude Crematorium as participating in it, as participating in this trafficking, be it human trafficking, baby trafficking, organ trafficking. And of course, we know that with all of that comes the substances, all kinds of substances, trafficking, and all the weapons and the ammunition and all of that. And this is billions of dollars, and it's all about the trafficking. And Richard told me it was so bad. It's so bad, Mom. It's so bad. Um, and, he really, how can you, in 2019 and 2020, talk about it? It's unbelievable to people. It's taken us 5 years of talking about it every day. And people are just now starting to go, well, maybe she has a point. Maybe, if she's doing it for 5 years, maybe she really is telling the truth. I mean, nobody is doing a cease and desist. No one is suing her. Maybe she's right. Maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe she has some evidence. And they would be absolutely right. We have piles of evidence. Um, and it started off as circumstantial evidence and to hard evidence to irregularities, right? Irregularities. We just sorted it out. And now we have so much hard evidence that it is being reported in the news. And they have arrested La Diabla, Martha Aguilar. And of course, she's part of this Ruiz family, which is heartbreaking to us because of the betrayal from the very beginning. Um, and of course, the Ortega, the Rocha, the Martin, the all of these names that are the Arellano names, the Garcia name, like Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, Danae Katzen, Gonzalez. These names are all part of this group, okay? The Belen Rocha, part of this group because it's Belen Ortega Rocha. Absolutely part of this funeral fraud mortuary operations, trafficking, monstrous network, criminal cartel tied, Mormon faction connected to Fort Bliss, protected by DPS. DPS needs to be shut down. Okay, DPS needs to be shut down. They have failed. They are supposed to be the Department of Public Safety. They have absolutely failed. They are wasting our taxpayers' money. We could do something better with our taxpayers' money and we would have less. If they were shut down, we would have less crime. Okay? That's how bad DPS is right now. Okay? Jose Sanchez just is a do nothing except for frisky business. Okay? And giving criminals, allowing criminals like Carlos Manuel Salas, who is supposed to be the prosecutor over all of this on the Mexico side, right, for the North Zone. He's supposed to uh, he's allowing him to have a Texas driver's license, a Texas car registration, which means he lives in the United States because he can buy a house. And this is all illegal because he is required by Mexican law. He has no respect for his own country's laws. He has no respect for American laws. He's a criminal. And he needs to be living over there in the North Zone of Chihuahua and prosecuting this runaway crime that is creating execution after execution after execution. They have so many executions right now. I can't even keep up with the numbers. So this is all, and to have the owner try to deny that he owns Plenitude Crematorium because he he was living next to, his house is right next to Beto O'Rourke. Okay. And his wife, a key person in the city magazine. Okay. And having a transportation business. What was she doing having a transportation business right there beside Beto O'Rourke with her husband, when they are trafficking, recycling bodies at Plenitude Crematorium? This all needs to be prosecuted. And who's going to do it? Carlos Manuel Salas, right? I don't think so. He's out there meeting with Rafael Arellano Caron. What is he meeting him for? Conspiring to how they're going to contain this? Is that why they're meeting in the United States, in El Paso, to conspire together, to collude together, to figure out how they're going to do this? While you have County Judge Ricardo Samaniego whining and dining at the most expensive restaurant, one of the most expensive restaurants in El Paso, Rafael Arellano Caron. Doing what? Conspiring together how they're going to continue to hide what we all know they have, and that's our son's remains. So this is, um, and the thing is the remains that are there are evidence of the organ harvesting, of the torture of many cartel victims, of the human trafficking, of ripping out babies from these people. And this is why we cannot have illegal immigration. This is why we can't have this open border. This is the absolute horrific, monstrous type of crime that they do to exploit people trying to leave their country, right? To come to the United States or come to other countries, Europe or whatever, uh, for a better life. When you come in illegally, you're going and you travel illegally, you are such a target. You're such a target. And then when you come into the country, you're a target of these nasty lawyers, right? Like Mario Ortiz Saroldi, that will bring you back to your trafficker that you owe money to, right? They want you to pay your debt, and that they don't bring you back without being coerced into, um, well, being the R word, being the R word. Okay, this is this we must address this, otherwise we are absolutely losing our country. And now we have in Virginia, in New Jersey, and in New York, massive people that have voted for this, to continue. Do you understand? They don't even understand. I'm hoping that some of them don't understand what they were voting for. Maybe they were just voting for free money, free healthcare, free childcare, free food, free whatever, free transportation, free. Like they think things are just free. Nothing is free, right? And it's such a con job. It's such a hypnosis. And then they're going to see the true colors. What they're in for is to be exploited, right? Because this is what El Paso has proven to us, that there is a group, a political group, that has allowed and participated in the exploitation of the people that they should be protecting, even those coming over illegally. Don't forget, it is Veronica Escobar's husband that is the immigration judge that has the duty to uh, keep these migrants coming over safe, out of harm's way. It's right. He has to protect them. That's his duty. And what we have is major exploitation and major death from it. Major death of children, major death of men and women. And of course, even our volunteer sons and daughters in our military, and also the death of the spirit. Because I'm going to tell you, when I went on to Fort Bliss and in El Paso, but on Fort Bliss especially, the people were shaking. Their spirit had been absolutely um, betrayed. Betrayed. Their spirit had been betrayed, and they were shaking because of it. And, it is just absolutely, it's treason. It's absolute act of treason for in the military, which is not a democracy. Okay? It's not a democracy. So think about this. You've got these people voting for communism, right? Communism. And they think that that the leadership is going to be good to them. But you have the example right here in the military where we give everything to our leaders. We gave everything that we could to General John Kelly. So much respect, the stars, pay, uh, we even tolerated the businesses that they go into after they retire. And when you're a general, your retirement is 100% pay. Okay, you get 100% pay when you are a retired general. Okay, there's no like 50%, 75%. No, it's 100% of your pay, and you are general forever. You're general forever. And you get unless they strip them, and they need to strip them. But I'm just telling you what we give them. We give them that title. We give them that money. We give them, and for that, we expect them to do their job. Okay? They can't say we deserve it. No, that's their job. That's why we give them all of that, the retirement, the stars, the respect, the housing, the protection, the travel, the modes of transportation, the driver. We give them all of that. And we expect them to do their job. And that's to defend the Constitution, the land, and the people. And what did General John Kelly do? He betrayed, yeah, yeah, he betrayed us so bad and went to work as a foreign agent, not to a decent country, no, to a narco trafficking, organ harvesting, baby ripping out of the body, children being trafficked and sent to who knows where, people dying of all kinds of substances, people dying in their spirit just because of the sheer madness of all of this, the darkness of all of this. That's what he did. And the illegal, the betrayal of the whole Constitution, the country. He needs to absolutely be held to the highest accountability, and the death penalty needs to be on the table. The death penalty needs to be put on the table. And, it's, and to come after our family, because he didn't stay hidden, y'all. We had discovered and were exposing too much for him. I guess we gaslit him or something. And he had to come out from under his cartel trafficking rock. And target. And and by doing that, he exposed that he's been with this all along, targeting Richard from the beginning, targeting the President of the United States, targeting President Trump from the beginning. He was Southcom, y'all. He was Southcom. He had his chance to clean this up years and years ago. And not just his chance, he had the whole force of his Marines. His Marines. They were under his command. Our Marines, United States Marines, the best of the best, he had command over at Southcom, and he had his chance of cleaning it up. And what did he do? He aligned with the criminals, with the worst type of monsters. And we have been suffering. Think about all the deaths. He is responsible for all of these deaths, y'all. The death penalty needs to be on the table. On the table. And Richard was forcibly removed from his room. And he was taken, and his life was taken from him on Fort Bliss. And his body was taken off of Fort Bliss, not alive. We must have attorney generals. This Jaime Esparza, and I don't talk about him enough because he plays such a monstrous role too. He walked the crime scene of Walmart before it was even secured. His sister was at the Walmart. He knows Joe Spencer. He knows the Mayellas. He knows David Guadarrama. He knew this was orchestrated. He knew that this information was being kept from us. He knew about Richard. He targeted Richard. He targeted Richard. He's and here he was, a DA, a prosecutor for the 34th Judicial District. The 34th Judicial District. And then he was made a DA, the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas. Such an obvious cover-up. And this includes Governor Abbott. This includes Woody Hunt. This includes that they were working in orchestration to cover this up. You don't get someone like Ray Velarde involved in this, a billionaire El Mayo's attorney involved in this, unless this is a conspiracy, a collusion, a network that works together, that keeps this going, just like Veronica Escobar. that keeps this criminal nightmare, monstrous nightmare. It's satanic. What do they do with these babies? It's satanic. Mom, it's so bad. Yes. Yes, son. It is so bad. And I understand now. Richard is haunting them. Richard is absolutely haunting them. Good. Good. And I pray that the angels hear the cries of the victims, hears them, and that they, we will find them. We will bring them home to their loved ones, including Richard, to us. And that these people, these monsters that did this, like Rafael Arellano Caron, like Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, like Jaime Esparza, like Joe Spencer, like Mario Raskin Ortiz, like Mario Ortiz Saroldi, like James Montoya, like Bill Hicks, like Veronica Escobar, like Governor Abbott. Sorry, I've got to say that. Like Carlos Manuel Salas, like Cesar Haragi, like Maru Campos, the governor of Chihuahua, like her mother, Maria Eugenia Galvan. They need to be held accountable. And I want to say something to the fact, and if you speak Spanish, God bless you. Please translate this. Please translate this. Those families that have suffered through this, they're given urns full of pulverized stone and their loved ones' bodies recycled, and who knows what they did to them, and let them lay there rotting. Arellano Caron has assets. Carlos Manuel Salas has assets, and those assets are in the United States too. The same thing with Cesar Paneche, $20 million mansion there, but he also has a house in the United States and Texas. Those are up for grab. Those are up for grab. Because they wrongly, and there's a lot of it, they wrongly, with criminal money, obtained these assets. And I want to say to those families, do not give up. Do not give up. The federal government in Mexico need to be absolutely driven. They're not going to work for you. They have to be driven to give you justice. And we are with you. The people are with you. And you need to get justice, and we need to get accountability, because this has to, they always cover it up a little bit to just let time go away, to then uncover it and start over again. That's why there needs to be real accountability this time. And we are absolutely working behind the scenes. Look, it's almost 2:00 in the morning. We're willing to not go to sleep. We're willing to work behind the scenes for the future, not only of the United States, but of Mexico as well. because we won't have our countries if we allow this kind of criminal network to operate. We will lose our spirit. And Mexico is worth fighting for. And I know Chihuahua is a narco state. I know the United States is pretty much. I don't want to say it. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe it is a narco state. I don't want to say it. We have to fight for our countries. And if both countries are being fought for simultaneously, that's good news. That's good news. And there's a lot of good things happening. A lot of good things happening that the media is not reporting, because the media is the media is controlled. The just to change the subject, today was a big harvest moon, and I took the most amazing pictures of this harvest moon. And what does that tell you? That, these monsters just have no chance. If we just stand up, they have no chance. Because we have the whole hosts of God's angels and the power of God upon us against these monsters. And, when you look at God's creation like that, it is, I think it was a really good message. And for me to be able to capture those pictures, my husband tried to capture the pictures, and he got some good ones. But those that I took are just magnificent. And I hope that you really enjoy them and take them as a message from God, that God is great, God is good, God is big, God is all powerful, God is victorious, and we have to never forget that. Never forget that. So I'm very, very grateful. I really want to say thank you so much for sharing, and please continue. Do not give up. Share some more, and then tell people to share some more, and then share even more, because it's the sharing, it's the word getting out that drives justice. It drives it. Even with unjust judges, it will drive it. And so that is really, really important. And so that's very good news, that we have so many people willing to now talk about this, share it. The fear is waning. The fear, the shaking is waning, and there's a renewed spirit. And I just want to say thank you so much. And thank you for all the kind words. I've been sent a lot of kind words. And so I want to say thank you. And we love you for those that have been with us through thick and thin from the beginning, and for the new people that are following, that are sharing, that are sending kind words and encouraging words that absolutely fuel us as a family to keep going. So thank you so much. God bless you, and